Our guest today in studio, and of course the topic of our discussion is how we elect our leaders. You know the drill of how it happens every Friday. Of course, they are on the lectern to make the presentation, and already we have with us Dr. Oliver Kisaka, who is on standby at the lectern right now to also tell us on this particular story and the probing question that was on the front page of the Daily Nation yesterday. Why do we vote, or we as Kenya or Kenyans voting for clowns? Dr. Oliver Kisaka, you've got 5 minutes beginning now.
Thank you, Dibal, and my fellow panelists this morning. Happy New Year, and Happy New Year to you, Kenyans. It's a great privilege to be discussing this morning, although the subject of our discussion is something that causes great disturbance as we reflect as a people. Why do Kenyans vote for clowns? It's amazing that in the journey of our growth from our individual ethnic communities in pre-independence Kenya to a national status where we are together, a nation state, living together, working together, there needed to have been a transformation in our way of thinking and operations that seems to have stalled somewhere in between, or that seems to reflect that some people are much more ahead of others in the game. And so the question of leadership in Kenya is a question which divides Kenyans, because some see it as an opportunity for personal gain, others see it as something to look forward to for hope for their future. A few people have found the opportunity, understood the game, are ahead of the rest, and are playing it in a way that is surprising Kenyans who have not taken time to reflect and think on what needs to happen. For example, the gentlemen and ladies that are called clowns today, if you are to reflect back and think how they came into public limelight, you will see it was out of taking amazing radical actions in society, like banging walls, throwing stones, and the rest. And that's how they came into the public limelight. Kenyans began to see them as people who hold hope, people who can fight for them, people who can actually dare anybody and stand against them. And if you are to look at most of the leaders that are in power today, you would see that they are there because their communities see them as the people who can dare the rest of society on behalf of the community. So I would like to look at just three things. First, what I consider the ethnic problem. We are in a situation where ethnic communities go into the public space to seek benefit for their ethnic community. And when they are choosing leaders, they discriminate on the basis of who best can go into the society, cut out profits for us and bring them back to the community. These profits are reflected in terms of how many of our people can be employed, how many of them can return to the community. And so ethnicity becomes an agency that we use to try and get as much as possible from the common nation state for our people. If you don't have your person there, you probably will get nothing. The second one I call the values problem, and Kenyans are aware of values problem. They have even espoused it in the constitution in an attempt to look for leaders that are good leaders. But we fail here because those who present themselves as leaders come through the ethnic door and not the values door. Nobody is asking questions on values. We do not realize that like a farmer, a nation must think in terms of times of sowing, times of caring for crops, and times of harvest. If we don't sow what is good for ourselves, we do not expect to harvest what is good later. And the third one I call the poverty problem. I can only describe this in terms of the conflicting occurrences of situations in Africa today. Why, for example, are our African young people dying on the Mediterranean, struggling to get out of Africa to pursue a better life in Europe and other places, when at the very same time, Chinese are coming into Africa in droves, thinking that the opportunities in Africa are unlimited. There is a perception problem here. We see ourselves as poor and unable to turn our situation around, and are looking for somebody who is providing easy answers, instead of a willingness to be patient, to work hard, to define the direction we want to go, and to work at it until we get it. I invite Kenyans this morning to think seriously that leadership is not just about picking anybody who presents themselves out there as one fighting for us. It is about defining a future, working towards that future persistently. We need to be a people that add the value of sacrifice towards a common good direction. We may sacrifice our ethnicities, we will sacrifice our opportunities, we will sacrifice our fame, but we are working together towards a common good. Kenyans need to espouse a value like maintenance. We need to be aware that all things need to be maintained, whether it's a garden or a car or a bicycle or a country, all things need to be maintained. The concept of maintenance must be restored. We need to resolve the poverty problem. If you go to a buffet and you are thinking about the hunger in your head and not the size of your stomach, you are likely to serve more than you can chew and throw away the food. I think we need to shift. We are not a poor people. God has given us great resources, great ideas. We are a great people. We just need to sit down, organize ourselves, and this time go past the popularist leaders and try to get leaders that can actually work us towards a common direction. There's hope for Kenyans. Let's reorganize ourselves and move forward in a positive way. God bless you, Kenyans.
Thank you.